Welcome back, friends. It's a beautiful morning out here at the ranch, and today we're taking a look at a new offering from Remington. Now, I haven't really been a fan of Remington in the past 7 or 8 years or so. They've really been putting out a lot of turds, and their quality has gone downhill. But I'm hoping it'll change with this guy right here. And the most important part is its value. So let's open up this box and see what we have. Nice factory condom for their protection. So this is the Remington RP9. And they really shipped it greasy. Let's wipe that off real quick. Now I don't know what RP9 is supposed to stand for. Now obviously the 9 stands for 9mm, but the RP, I can only assume that stands for Remington pistol, or perhaps realistic pistol, really proud, renegade peasant, roundhouse punch, ridiculous person. What do you think it stands for? So this box looks pretty good for just a piece of cardboard, you know, not too bad. You got one of these useless locks. Comes with 2 magazines, 18 round magazines. That's pretty good. And we got a couple of back straps here too. Might have to change those out, see how they feel. You know, initial reaction to it is it looks a little blocky. When I saw the pictures of it online, I thought it was a pretty decent looking gun, but on initial inspection, it looks kind of chunky to me. But do we really care about how it looks or how it shoots? It does have ambidextrous slide releases. That's kind of nice if you're a lefty. And it also looks like you can swap around the magazine release button. Now, is it just me, or does that guide rod look like it already has rust on it? That is pretty funny. It's certainly well lubed. Now, even though Remington's quality has gone down quite a bit in the past several years, I'm hoping this turns out to be a really good value. Because you see, this isn't a $500 gun, or a $400 gun, or even a $300 gun. It's a $200 gun. That's right. And I do have to caveat that. See, I bought this one from Palmetto State Armory for $250, and Remington is currently offering a $50 rebate on it. Now, as long as there's no shenanigans with the rebate, that means this pistol would have cost $200, minus transfer fees and all that such. If this thing turns out to be reliable and a decent shooter, that is one heck of a deal. So let's break this thing down real quick and take a look at it. Flip this lever down, release the slide. Looks like you have to pull the trigger. And off comes the slide. Just like an M&P or a Glock or something like that. Has an awful lot of oil and grease in there from the factory. It's good, actually. Well lubricated. Taking a look at the mechanism here. Here's the sear, and it's got a transfer bar and a spring. This is interesting. I think a lot of this tension is actually coming from the spring. You might be able to lighten that up a little bit. I don't know. The sear seems to have a pretty steep angle on it. That's going to give you a very mild double action type effect as it pushes the striker backwards just a hair as it moves out of its own way. Hope you guys can see that on camera there. No magazine disconnect. That's good. Hopefully you guys can see this right here. There's a lot of take up in the trigger before the sear starts to move. Yeah, that's quite a bit of a travel before the sear even moves. That could be one area of improvement. Well, everything looks nicely machined and put together, and I'm pretty satisfied. You know, this is only slightly more expensive than a High Point, and yeah, this is miles better. Well, let's get her back together and see how she shoots. Now this isn't really a comparison video, but I can't help but to compare this to another striker-fired, relatively inexpensive 9mm handgun, which I really like. And that is the M&P. Side by side, they seem to be basically the same size. The RP9 is definitely wider than the M&P is, but not in the grip. The grip is nice and slim, actually. I like to keep the large backstrap on my M&P, and I might do the same to the Remington. We'll just have to shoot it and see how it feels. You can also see that the M&P sits a little lower in your hand, and of course that slide is svelte compared to the Remington. Weight-wise, they feel about the same. Let's actually check them out, how much they weigh with the magazines inserted. So Remington claims it weighs 26.5 ounces. Let's see what the cheapo fish scale says. 1 pound 14 ounces. Now that's a good bit over what Remington claims this thing weighs. And this is with an empty mag inserted. I don't know if Remington weighs their guns without the magazine or what, but it's obviously heavier than what they state it is. Let's check the M&P. Okay, so the M&P weighs 1 pound 12 ounces. It's a couple ounces lighter. Not a huge difference. You're probably not really going to be able to tell the difference. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't find my trigger scale this morning, so we're just going to talk about the trigger subjectively. Like I was saying earlier, there is a fair amount of spongy, springy feeling take-up, but then it breaks pretty nicely. And taking a look at the reset, nice positive reset. And again, it's got spongy take-up after the reset. That kind of stinks. Comparing it to the M&P, oh, this is a stock M&P. I've gotten used to Apex triggers. But the actual pull of the Remington is lighter than that of a stock M&P. That's for sure. But the stock M&P feels a little crisper. But the reset on the M&P is a lot less distinct than it is on the Remington. Now, I don't know about you, but I like a nice positive reset. That's why all my other M&Ps have Apex triggers in them. But that's not a fair comparison. Comparing the Remington magazine to the M&P magazine, you can kind of tell where they got the 18th round from. It's just a little bit taller, but it's not huge. Another great value point on this gun that I almost forgot to mention is the magazines are $15 a piece. That is freaking fantastic. I hate buying a gun and then finding out that the magazines cost $40 each or $50 each even. Sick. Sick. Alright, first up, I'm going to try some 30-year-old 124 grain NATO ammo. Oh, cheat code! Did you see that? I like. Here we go, first shot. So far, so good. So now let's try some Tula brass. Gotta love the cheat code. I haven't quite got the hang of controlling this pistol just yet. It might be because this slide is pretty heavy compared to some of the other 9mm. But she's running good so far. Alright, we got some good performance out of cheap brass ammo. Now let's try some garbage wolf. my target. Not bad. Alright, so I put about 200 rounds through it today, and my overall impression is it's pretty darn good for the price. In fact, I don't think you can beat it. You know, considering this thing is about the same cost as, you know, a Kel-Tec, a little bit under the cost of a Taurus, and slightly over the cost of a High Point, I can't imagine why you would want to buy like any of those other bargain basement brands over this thing. This is a good shooter. There was only one malfunction, a failure to feed, and it was easily resolved with a little tap. And I'm extremely pleased that it's reliable with this crappy Wolf ammo. My M&P doesn't really care for it. It kind of tends to stick in the mags. So if you can't afford something like an M&P or a Glock, this is a great alternative. And also, if you just don't want to afford something more and want to spend the money on ammo, hey, that's even better. Now hopefully Remington will follow through with the rebate and not give me any grief. And if they do, this is going to be an outstanding value. Go get one of these. I'm going to be shooting this a lot in the months to come, and if you want to find out how reliable it is in the long term, then please subscribe. Thanks for watching.